overall, your story about higher education being mostly about signaling rather than making people, putting knowledge into people or making people more intelligent,
We're training them to do a job.
Right. Is that a deadweight loss for society, or is it fulfilling a necessary and useful purpose?
Right. So here's the thing. Government at all levels very heavily subsidizes the status quo, which makes me think it's very likely that there are much cheaper ways of doing this. So there is a very large deadweight cost of people could be starting their real life at a much earlier age. And that means that both the time that people spend in school, but also all of the money that they're putting into the resources could have been saved, at least a lot of it. To me, the most compelling evidence of this is that we do have data on the amount of education that people in different jobs have had over time. And what we can see is that there's been really high credential inflation over the past 80 years or so. This means is that for the same job that your parents or grandparents could have gotten with a high school degree, you often now need a college degree. For the same job that you used to be able to do with a college degree, you now need a graduate degree. Now, of course, you could say, well, maybe the job is harder and being a secretary now is more intellectually demanding than being a secretary 50 years ago. But what I say there is that the people that do these numbers are conscious of these problems. And what they say is there are some jobs that are more cognitively demanding than in the past. There's others that are actually easier, like being a waiter. And yet now we do see a lot of waiters with college degrees, which would have seemed insane in 1950, right? And is it that being a waiter is so much more intellectually demanding than the past? No. What's going on is that now we just have a much more educated population. So if you're running a fancy restaurant and you want to get your more elite people that are serving the customers, you just raise the bar because you can. Right? There's now so many people with college degrees that that you can safely say, well, you need a college degree for this job. And it does make sense because you are selecting the higher quality workers. But you could have gotten the higher quality workers in 1950 by saying you only need a high school degree. I was just in Guatemala and I was asking them, so down here in Guatemala, how many waiters would have college degrees? And people just laughed. They said, you don't have waiters with college degrees in Guatemala. That's insane. And I said, well, in the United States, we do. Right. And I say it's just as insane in the United States as in Guatemala from a social point of view. However, from the point of view of an employer, well, yeah, if there's all these people with college degrees applying to be a waiter at Morton's, then yeah, I'll take that into account.
Yeah. So part of the reason I found your article so interesting was A, it described my experience. Mm-hmm. B, it used common sense in a way that I hadn't seen it applied to this particular problem before, and in a way that I don't see it applied generally. So one example would be when class gets canceled, everyone celebrates. Whereas if I order a package on Amazon and it gets to me and something's wrong or something's missing, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Right away, that should tip you off. If school were about me getting knowledge from class, improving my productivity, and therefore directly increasing the amount of money I'm going to make, we should be mad when class gets canceled because we're getting cheated out of our product.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's striking here, some people say, well, it's just the students are myopic. They don't care about the future. And I say, if that were the right story, then students wouldn't need to wait for the professor to cancel class. They just wouldn't come. Right. So clearly what's going on is that people they don't want to be the only one not coming, but they're very happy if no one comes. And that says, aha, so what you're really looking to get out of this is the grade, not the learning, which you actually probably correctly think you don't really need later on. But the grade, on the other hand, is something that employers might use to make your life better or worse.